My name is Syahmi. My matrix number is 17DDT21F1024. And my partner is Muhammad Syahmi Afnan bin Abdul Rahman 17DDT12F1065. And our lecturer for this program is Muhammad Faizal bin Yahya. Today we would like to present our problem-based task for Windows Server administration. So the topic is about DNS server and DHCP server. So the background program is the background question is JTMKPC Senior Berhad is a private educational institute that is growing. They are planning to open the second institution branch in the end of the year. One of their concerns is to host their own server at new branch. You, as an IT administrator, is required to set up server for domain name server DNS and dynamic host configuration protocol DHCP. In a group of 2%, set up a server using a Windows 2019. So in this task, we are given a network diagram, DNS and DHCP server. So the computer name is a WSA-PBT, membership is jtmkpieces.com, IPv4 address is 172.16.1.10, and default gateway is 172.16.1.1, and the subnet mask is 255.255.255.0, and DNS IP is 172.16.1.10. In this network diagram also we are given three types of organization unit and scope. For the first one is academic, second is management, and third is admin. So let's get started. For the task one is set up Windows Server 2019 with DNS and ADDS feature, which is Active Directory domain service. Part one is error feature for the DNS server and configuration Active Directory based on a detail given. A is a assigned server with hostname and static IP address accordingly to the topology. So the IP address we set up is 172.16.1.10. Subnet mask is 1255.1.255.255.0. Default gateway is 172.16.1.1. And the hostname is WSA-PBT. B is an installed DNS with Active Directory domain service for root domain name jtmkcase.edu and netbio name as jtmkpieces. During the deployment configuration, we need to select a new for us and put specific root domain name which is jtmkpieces.edu. After that, we need to verify the NetBIOS name which is jtmkpieces. C is to create three new organization unit, OU and security group name academic jtmk, management jtmk, and admin jtmk. For this step, we need to open Active Directory user and computer, right click on the server jtmkpieces, click new and click organization unit. After that, we need to put name of academic JTMK, admin JTMK, and management JTMK for these three new organizational unit. D1 is a create one user for each organization unit that we create earlier. For next is D1 create one user for each organizational unit. For academic JTMK, we put Shamil in front as a user, admin JTMK Dynasty as a user, Afiq Daniel user is for management JTMK. D2 is allocated to computer under group academic JTMK named as computer 1 and computer 2. D3 set a WSA Alliance 2022 as the password for the all user account. To configure a new zone under forward lookup zone with the following detail: zone type, primary zone, zone name, academic.jtmkpieces.edu. Dynamic update, do not allow the dynamic update. So in the first step, after we arrive in the zone type, we need to choose a primary zone, click next, and in zone name, we put academic.jtmkpieces.edu and click next. After that, the dynamic update, we need to choose do not allow dynamic update and click next. After that, we are completing the forward lookup zone and finish. Part 3 is to create new host A and mail exchange MS record for DNS on jtmkpieces.edu on forward lookup zone. Host A record, zone name jtmkpieces.edu, name jtmkpieces mx001, IP address 172.16.1.11. Mail record, zone name jtmkpieces.edu, host name mail, fully qualified domain name mail.jtmkpieces.edu, FQDN of mail server is jtmkpieces mx001.jtmkpieces.edu. Part 4, create a reverse lookup zone with the following detail. 1. Create a reverse lookup zone for the following IP address for the network 172.16.1.1/24. Number two is set a pointer PTR record for the reverse lookup zone hostname JTMK pieces as JTMK pieces mx001.jtmk pieces.edu using host IP address as 172.16.1.11. In the part 5, we need to verify DNS functionality. Number one is to verify that the domain folder so-called JTMK pieces.edu has been automatically created under the forward lookup zone. Your answer should list three the record resource RR, which are SOA, start of authority, and S, name server, host A. This record refers to the DC server as a DNS server in the upper command using NS lookup server name. Command in the command prompt, we need to search NS lookup WSA PBT. So the output will come out as a server WSA PBT.jtmk pieces.edu, address 172.16.1.10, name WSA WSAPBT.jtmkpieces.edu, address 172.16.1.10. Second is a verify the configuration of reverse lookup zone by the showing the output command and slookup -debug server address. During this configuration, we need to open the administrator command prompt and type nslookup/debug, and the IP address was 172.16.1.10. After that, we get the output server wsa/pbt.jtmkpc.edu. The address was 172.16.1.10. The last part for DNS problem, DNS server is the analysis DNS problem. Number one, the question is if your Windows DNS server is not responding, it may be necessary to dig more deeply to understand error and misconfiguration that could be causing in the issue. To do so, you need to utilize NSLookup, a tool built into the window. NSLookup is integrated to a various software solution, including SolarWinds remote monitoring, management, and you can use NSLookup DNS troubleshooting. Command to determine specific internal or external issue. Discuss the most common and important kind of DNS record that could cause the DNS issue. For the answer, we provide three records. The first one record is A record. A record are basic DNS data that match a domain with an IP address to check an A record. Use the NSLookup command following by the domain. Then you can confirm the domain is going to the right IP address. An AAA record is the same as a record. Second record is senior record. Senior record stands for canonical name. This record is used to point one domain name at another domain name. For NSLookup, this command is a set type CNAME following by your domain. For the last record is MX, the mail exchange. MX records direct email from your domain to a host server. Make sure the MS to your domain is a or AA record, not a CNAME record. The command is set type MX following by your domain. That's all for me. I will pass to Syahmi Afnan to provide the second solution for task 2 with DHCP configuration.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad Syahmi Afnan bin Rahman. I will present task 2 about problem-based task. Part 7 about DHCP server configuration. Firstly, we must install DHCP feature. As we know, to install DHCP server, we might add role and feature, click next, and we choose DHCP server. We tick on that. After that, we must add feature, and then we must install that. After we install that, we must put username JTMK PC/administrator, and we click commit. After that, we just click close. Part 8, create a scope in DHCP IPv4. Firstly, the scope 1, name academic. Start IP address is 172.1c.1.100 and IP address is 172.1c.1.100. The length is 24. So subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. Our list duration is 8 days and click next. We must choose yes, I want to configure this option now, and then click next. Add router default gateway, we must add IP address 172.1c.1.1 and click next. Add the domain name and DNS server. Parent domain is jtmkpc.edu. IP address is 172.1c.1.1.10. Click next. active scope, we choose yes, I want to active this scope now and click next, and it will finish. The scope 1 will finish. So at scope 1, which is scope academic, we must make a reservation IP address for network printer. So to do that, we must we must right click at reservation on scope academic, click new reservation, and we must put name network printer, and IP address is 172.16.1.155. My address, we just follow uh, the task we must follow at the report PPT. And supported types, we choose both and we click add. After that, we will see reservation IP address network printer on reservation at scope 1 academic. That means it's finished. So scope, we must click scope 2, name Bursa, and start with IP address 172.16.2.100, and end IP address is 172.16.2.200. Length is 24, subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. DNS server is 172.16.1.10. We make list duration is 7 days and click next. Parent domain is jtmkpcs.edu. IP address 172.16.1.10. Click next. Active scope, we just click at yes and click next. After that, we click finish. Okay. Scope 3 is name admin. Start with IP address 172.16.3.100, and IP address is 172.16.3.200. Length at subnet mask is same. DNS server is same. List duration different because we use 6 day only, and click next. Domain name and DNS server, IP address same with the scope 1 and scope 2, still same. Active scope, we click at yes, and we just click finish. Part 9, we must verify DHCP functionality. So to verify, we must go to the command prompt. We use this first client. We type ipconfig and it will display like this. So our client IP address is 172.16.1.100. So picture 2, we can see address list at academic scope. There are two IP address, which is desktop and network printer. And that we can see picture 1 is result pin from client to server, which is success, and picture 2 is pin server to client, which is success 2. Part 10 is analysis DHCP problem. So this answer for part 10 is troubleshooting technique. Firstly, we must verify that IP address lists are available in the DHCP server scope for the subnet the DHCP client is on. To do this, see the statistic for the appropriate scope in the DHCP server management console. Answer number 2 is verify that the DHCP server is bound to at least one IP address, and then this is within the subnet of the scope from which is IP addresses must be listed out, unless we using DHCP relay. To do this, run the get DHCP server for binding or get DHCP server for seed binding CMD LED. Server connection binding are configured in the DHCP server management console under IPv4 and IPv6 advanced property. Answer number 3 is user should make sure that the DHCP server is still authorized by the Active Directory to list IP addresses. User should also check to verify that the scope is active and that the necessary services are running on the DHCP server. So conclusion that we get from this problem-based task is firstly, DHCP server assign the IP addresses to client computer while the DNS server resolve them. Both DHCP and DNS are essential tools in the network administrator to locate for managing all the IP device on the corporate network. We also have learned how to configure and function about forward lookup zone and reverse lookup zone. Forward lookup zone resolve name to IP addresses, and reverse lookup zone resolve IP addresses to name. We learn to analyze problem about DNS. For example, troubleshooting technique and type of record in DNS record, which is server name, A record, and MS. Lastly, we can learn about scope function and advantage to a DHCP. By defining one or more scope on the DHCP server, the server can manage the distribution and assignment of IP addresses to the DHCP client. So I think that's all from us, and thank you.